All right, welcome everybody. It is David Thomas, Mr. J. Woolwine with me. As you might be able to hear, I'm still kind of overcoming my congestion and sickness from recently, so you have to bear with me if you still hear some sniffles. It's hard, it's getting hard to shake this.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's flu, whatever it is, just doesn't want to go away. But anyways, all good. Today we are here for your weekly dose of motivation, inspiration, and education, as we always do every Tuesday around this time, 4 p.m. Eastern. To help you become a better version of yourself. Sometimes that's going to be related directly to trading, which today is, or sometimes it's directed towards just overall personal development and helping you become a better version of yourself, which obviously bleeds into your trading experience as well. But today we're going to be talking about, really how less is more when it comes to trading. We've been trading for years now, obviously, and it took us a while, longer than we'd like to admit, to figure out that actually the real key is not doing more, it's doing less, but doing it well. We used to think that, I don't know, especially myself, I don't speak for Jay, but I used to think that the more trades I took, right, the better chance of my success, especially when you're brand new, right? You're glued to the screens, you're stressed out all the time, you're waking up in the middle of the night, you're answering, you're checking your phone, right? You're seeing what trades are doing, trying to catch every single move. But when I look back, a lot of the mistakes that I made came from overtrading. So when I finally pulled back and focused on just a few high probability setups or entry models, everything changed. My win rate improved, my stress levels went down, which is the biggest gift you can get. And you started to see consistency in your trading. So it's like anything else, you know, quality over quantity.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I always like in my head trading was always like the traders on the floor, right? Where they're like everybody's screaming and yelling, like,
Right.
like it's
Exactly.
that intense like craziness, right? And that's kind of like how we thought about it, right? Like the best traders were the ones that were making dozens of trades a day, right? Constantly in and out of the market and all that screaming and stuff. But over time we realized that the pros aren't chasing trades, right? They're waiting. It's kind of like that analogy you've heard, like we're snipers in the market, not machine gunners, right? that over trading is just machine gunning, right? And it's about having the discipline to sit on your hands, right, when there isn't something, and wait for the right opportunity to present itself, right? And we talk about that's also a mindset, right? Of being in a mindset that where you're available for that information, right? So when we scaled back and started just trading our setups, we're super black and white, right? We're trying to be, we want to be very objective, right? And stick to our trade plan, and that's a success for us, right? And when we did that, our performance improved dramatically, right? And we started to see a lot more of the market and how a lot of the market noise isn't worth reacting to, right? It's just there as noise, right? And when you get that clarity, right? When you gain that clarity, you're not constantly in the mix, trying to filter out noise, then you can catch more of your setups, right? You're, like I said, you make yourself available to see what's really in the market. So less is definitely more in trading.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about reducing the number of trades, it's really about refining your process too. We used to we thought the more that we learned, the more success, and most people fall into that trap, right? The more you learn, the more successful you're going to be. And it's just not the case. Some people do it with indicators, right? Some people slap on, oh, I need this indicator, I need that indicator. And they have like, before you know it, they have 30 different indicators on their chart. They can't see a thing. It looks like a Christmas tree, right? But it just creates, what it does is it creates confusion and what is it? Paralysis by analysis. But what we've done is we've stripped it back down to just the few tools and entry models that we trust. And that simplicity gives us confidence. And I've noticed something else that when you're not taking as many trades, you naturally get more time to analyze and learn from the market. So you're not so scattered that it's like you feel like you're all over the place, you're stressed out. You're not just reacting, you're planning. It feels more like chess than, pulling that slot machine. You know what I mean?
Yep. And you might have seen that there's like a picture of like some impressionistic art painting or something where it's like this stuff smeared all over the chart, and it looks like that's like your trading chart, right? When you have those indicators on that.
Right.
We've done some strategies when we first got started that had like a lot of stuff on there, just trying to like look everywhere and see everything at once. And that's really just not the answer, or wasn't for us. And by simplifying our approach, right, it kind of changed everything, right? It's when you have to make fewer decisions, then those decisions tend to be better, right? And when we started to realize that the market doesn't owe us an opportunity, right? Like you, when you when you're new, like you think that it's just like a given, like there's going to be a setup, and you're looking for it, right? You're expecting it, and it's that expectation that sets you up for failure, right? It doesn't owe you anything, right? And patience is really such an underrated skill in trading, right? It's really everything, right? And when you don't see something trading, right, don't force it, right? You step back, review your strategy, take a break, walk away from the charts. We say it. Sometimes the best trades are no trades, right? And some of our best weeks came from sitting out on days when there weren't really any setups. And we're doing it a lot now. Like you'll see, we get on and we're like, oh, it's kind of a light week. And you can go in the Discord and see that there's plenty of trades being taken, right? But it doesn't mean that they're all winners or that they even qualified, right? People are just taking trades because they're in that mindset of I have to be trading, right? And once you learn to like just slow it down, be picky, look for your setups, things will be a little bit better, right? When you have that control, right? So I'm in control instead of the market controlling me.
Yeah. No, that's a great point for sure. And it's so easy to feel like you need to be doing something all the time, right? And because you're used to that. You have a job, you're constantly either staring at a computer screen or you're, working with your hands or whatever you're doing, but you're usually pretty, I mean, not all jobs maybe, but you're usually pretty active, right? You feel like you're not productive unless you're doing something. But that's just your emotions talking. I've learned that you really have to value the times when you're not in a trade just as much as when you are. And the funny thing is, when you're more selective, you feel less pressure. You'll know you've done your homework and you're not chasing anything. Chasing trades is definitely a recipe for disaster. So, I remember I used to feel like exhausted after a trading session, because you're stressed yourself out, you're over trading. Half the trades were impulse decisions, or maybe we saw in some chat that somebody was taking this, and so we took that because we just lost this, and it's just everybody goes through it in the beginning, but once you pull it back and you let that emotion kind of dissipate, you feel sharper, you feel more focused. Trading becomes, a professional trader doesn't gamble anyway, but in the beginning, you treat it like gambling, don't you? But it becomes more about the strategy. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And you're definitely right about the pressure, right? When you're chasing trades, right, it feels like you're always like on the edge, right? And that's something like it's like an endorphin rush, right? It's like an adrenaline rush that people chase. Like that's how you overtrade. That's how people end up gambling and thinking this is gambling, and they'll quit and just say, oh, trading's gambling, because they never learned any impulse control, right? And we still know people that trade like that, right? But when you're patient, right, and disciplined, you're in the driver's seat, right? Then it's not gambling. You're the casino, right? You're not the gambler sitting at the table, right? And I think that approach helps you avoid, the big account blowing mistakes, right? Overtrading doesn't just cost you money, like it costs you confidence, right? When you lose, that confidence is just drained from you, right? And it's really everything in this game, right? Because when you're not confident, you start second guessing everything you're doing, right? Every opportunity, even when it's a good one, right? You're still second guessing, and you can talk yourself right in or out of anything, right? When you don't have confidence and you don't believe your strategy is a winning edge, then you start questioning everything, start adding on another indicator to try to eliminate that last loss, right? We've done it, right? We've been there, right? But confidence really is everything. And less trading doesn't mean less opportunities, right? It means more control. Less trading means more control, not less opportunities, right? You really have to look at it like that. And ultimately, it's more consistency, right? And I just wish that when we had first started, like we knew that. When we first started, it was different than what we're offering you guys these days. So.
absolutely, but like that's part of the learning curve, but luckily, hopefully people will learn from our mistakes, and obviously we what's the word I'm looking for? Pioneer a path where if you follow the training, you follow it, you should be able to avoid those things. But the emotion is still going to creep in, so you have to be aware of it, and that's part of the battle too. Um, but yeah, when you don't really appreciate the calmness and the tranquility of being, doing less and being more in control until you've experienced the chaos of doing too much. So it makes it almost you really you appreciate it more. You know, I think if more traders understood this earlier on, there'd be fewer stories of people burning out or blowing up accounts, right? Saying, "Oh, trading's a scam, it doesn't work," all this stuff. It's like, no, you're just you're causing a lot of chaos where there doesn't need to be chaos. The market rewards patience and discipline, not hyperactivity. Less is more. It's a simple rule, but it makes all the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those lessons that you pretty much have to learn the hard way, right? You can't. We try to have everybody learn from our experience, but the bottom line is most people need to go through it.
Mhm.
But once it clicks, right, it kind of changes everything for you. Fewer trades, better trades, right? You have a clearer mind, and that's the formula. That's the winning formula, right? Trading isn't about how often you hit the button, right? Anybody can do that. It's about hitting the button at the right time, right? It's if more people understood that, then they'd save themselves frustration and money. Right? So here's to keeping things simple and keep you on the right plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope you got a lot of value out of this today. As always, we appreciate you watching, and we're here to help you. So y'all take care. God bless, and we'll see you back next week.